Manchester City win at home against Newcastle. Nico O'Reilly scored a brace. Chelsea collapse at the end of the match against Burnley. Wesley Fofana received a red card and the Blues played with a numerical disadvantage late in the game. They failed to hold on and conceded a fatal goal in stoppage time. Patrice Evra on Arsenal fans: the problem is neither Arteta, nor the owners, nor the players, it is the Arsenal fans. You are living in an illusion. But what if we talked about the real deal of the season? João Pedro. Signed for less than Isaac, Gyökeres, and Sesko. And yet, he is producing almost as many goals on his own as the three combined this season, 14 goals and 5 assists. Ivan Rakitic: I think we achieved the best season in Champions League history when we won it in 2015. We beat the champions of France, England, Germany, and then the Italian champions in the final. To win the title, it is not enough for Barcelona to wait for their rival to stumble. They must reinvent their style of play to rediscover the solidity that characterized them in previous rounds. It must first be understood that the problem does not lie in the defense itself, but in the entire defensive system, which requires the participation of all players, and not just the 4 defenders and the goalkeeper. When the attack and the midfield do not press the opponent when they don't have the ball, the defensive structure is compromised and almost every opposing possession turns into a goal-scoring opportunity in the penalty area. The wingers often forget their defensive duties, leaving the full-backs to fend for themselves when they push up, putting them in 2-on-1 situations. Flick must also review the triangle formed by the defensive midfielder and the interior players. Aligning 2 players as offensive as Olmo and Firmino simultaneously is not advised, as it exposes the defensive midfielder, especially if it is Frenkie de Jong. It therefore seems more sensible to prioritize a player with more defensive qualities, a role in which Eric Garcia or Marc Benol excel. The problem also lies in the lack of efficiency in front of goal, as the team continues to create chances without converting them. Barcelona cruelly misses the 30 goals Lewandowski used to score, as age is beginning to take its toll and his decline is not compensated for by the goals of Ferran Torres, a player more at ease coming off the bench than as a starter in a top-level team. With this reinvention in mind, Flick's task remains to reposition Lamine closer to the centre and the goal. Confining him to the right wing, where he is constantly double-teamed by opponents, limits his influence on the game. Entrusting him with the false 9 role, created by Guardiola for Messi and used by Cruyff with Laudrup in the Dream Team, seems like a viable solution to increase the young talent's effectiveness. These are details that could allow Barcelona to be better balanced. Without their implementation, Real Madrid's missteps might not be enough. Flick has earned the fans' trust and established himself as a top-tier coach, but it is hoped that his stubbornness, typically German, will not hinder the team's necessary progression. Harry Kane on rumours of a transfer to Barcelona: I haven't heard anything about it. My father and my brother handle everything, but they haven't told me anything. As I said before, I am very happy here at Bayern. I am focused on this season and my career at Bayern. I take this interest as a compliment. The details of the meeting between Flick and the dressing room. Flick asks for more unity, better positioning on transitions, and efficiency in front of goal. He wants to rediscover the ambition of last season. The players asked for adjustments in physical preparation to last 90 minutes. They also point to the defensive strategy and the excessive number of chances conceded. Oscar Jorquera, former La Masia coach Marc Benol will be the new Sergio Busquets. He is a very versatile player, capable of alternating between the centre-back and defensive midfield positions. I prefer him at the base of the midfield because he is very calm with the ball. Deco's plan for the new Barca: sell players to finance new recruits. The sporting director has a clear strategy and is waiting for the elections to implement it. Barca will be able to make transfers during the current summer transfer window. The club firmly believes in the possibility of respecting the 1:1 rule, in the event of the departure of high-salary players, such as Lewandowski, with the intention of recruiting 2 players. Sporting director Deco has developed a plan with Hansi Flick to provide the German coach with new options and is waiting for the election results to put it into practice. Everything is clear at Barca, except in the case of major injuries or unexpected departures. The club believes that all players whose contracts have been renewed will stay at the club. 2 players will be put up for sale, while ensuring the team structure is not disrupted. Deco and Flick recognize the need to let certain players go, due to a surplus in certain positions and a lack of playing time for some, who would be unlikely to have enough opportunities in the future. These are difficult decisions, potentially involving players from the youth academy, but they are necessary to reduce the wage bill and generate internal resources. One of the players involved could also contribute to reducing the cost of one of the 2 main recruits currently being considered. The first major decision will concern Lewandowski, who will have to accept a significant reduction in his salary if he wishes to stay. In the current situation, his departure seems more likely than his staying, due to his age and low playing time. Barca also wants to definitively settle the case of Ter Stegen. His injury complicates things, as well as that of Ansu Fati. Freeing up the salaries of these 3 players will allow the club to carry out its transfers more easily. Next, the sale of players is considered a necessary solution to finance 2 key squad reconstruction operations, a striker and a centre-back. The debate is open on the right or left-back position, where priority will be given to a local player if they deserve it. Otherwise, the club would re-examine Cancelo's situation, or look for a solution on the market without major investment. At Barca, things are currently on pause because of the elections, but Deco has made progress in negotiations and hopes to finalize them by the end of March, a crucial month for the planning of all professional teams. There is enough time because the names and possible alternatives are known. Regarding departures, 2 players are already being monitored, waiting for developments until the end of the season. The agents of these players will soon know that they will have to act on the transfer market. Inter Milan is interested in Alejandro Balde. Besides the departures of Lewandowski, Ter Stegen, and Ansu, Barcelona plans to sell 2 other players this summer. Barca says no to Schlotterbeck. Barca refuses to enter a €50 million bidding war for the German and prefers to focus on a profile judged technically superior, Alessandro Bastoni. Journalist: how do you feel when you see Real Madrid players getting penalties easily? Joan Garcia: we must not waste our energy on those kinds of things. Micah Richards: if Barcelona manages to sign Julian Alvarez, their attack next season will be absolutely terrifying. We're talking about Firmin as a number 10, Lamine Yamal and Rafinha on the wings, and Alvarez up top, a real nightmare for any European defense. It's not just a question of talent, it's also about energy, movement, and intensity. They would press you, outpace you, and outskill you. If this combination works, Barcelona could become unstoppable. Every big club would dread facing them. Journalist: your favorite goalkeeper in the Spanish Liga? Joan Garcia, Oblak. Journalist: your favorite goalkeeper in the Champions League? Joan Garcia, David Raya. Journalist: your role model as a goalkeeper since childhood? Joan Garcia, De Gea. Count: our bad run was due to several factors. Of course, part of it is a lack of intensity, or losing the ball in dangerous areas. It happens. That's football. We're going to try to lose fewer balls, because it's frustrating and we want to do our best for the fans. Cancelo: I was training really well and I felt the coach was going to play me. When you train well, things naturally fall into place on the pitch. When I arrived, I wasn't at the top of my physical form. I wasn't as physically ready as my teammates. Now, step by step, I'm finding my level again. I think this match was important for me, for my state of mind and my mental health, because in the end, it gives me the confidence to move forward. Joao Cancelo on Hansi Flick: Hansi is the most demanding coach of my career, but I love that. I love that kind of challenge and commitment. Hansi expects a lot from me in terms of dribbling and breakthroughs, and I know I can do it. Flick: Cancelo? He was good today. We'll see if he becomes a starter. I also want to see a positive attitude in training that can help us a lot. Joao Cancelo was voted man of the match against Levante. Barca takes the reins of the championship back. A 3-0 victory for Hansi Flick's men. Marc Benol and Frenkie de Jong, goal scorers this afternoon. Fermin Lopez scored a sumptuous goal at the very end of the match. Joao Cancelo was massive and provided an assist. AC Milan is surprised at the very end of the match by Parma. A 1-0 defeat for Massimiliano Allegri's men. Mariano Troilo gave his side the victory in the 80th minute. Second defeat of the season for the Rossoneri in the league this season. AC Milan is second and is now 10 points behind its rival, Inter. Parma is 12th. Arsenal wins the London derby. London is red. Eberechi scored a brace. Victor Gyökeres also scored a brace. Randall Colomwani was a goalscorer. Thanks to this victory, the Gunners take a 5-point lead over their runner-up, Manchester City. Tottenham occupies 16th place. Alexis Mac Allister gives Liverpool the victory at the very end of the match. A 1-0 victory for Onslaugh's men. The Argentine midfielder saves Liverpool at the last minute. Liverpool is 6th, Nottingham is 17th. Rodrigo will make his return after the match against Benfica. Bad news for Real Madrid. Dani Ceballos will be out for at least 7 weeks. Images have been released showing Lionel Messi trying to confront the referee after the final whistle. Luis Suarez had to stop him from entering the referee's locker room by pulling his arm. Lionel Messi was furious. Vardy drank 4 cans of Red Bull in 1 hour. On the eve of a match, he drank wine at the hotel, and beers. Ben Chilwell tells the pre-match routine of Jamie Vardy, his teammate at Leicester, it's not really recommended. He barely slept. He had come banging on my door at around 3 a.m. to wake me up. He's crazy. But he would score hat-tricks after all that. La Liga is investigating remarks that Vinicius allegedly suffered from Osasuna supporters during the match. Vinicius, die. Cristiano Ronaldo has confirmed his desire to stay in Saudi Arabia. I am Saudi. I want to stay here. It is a country that welcomed me, as well as my family and my friends. I am happy here and I want to stay here. Final score, LAFC 3-0 Inter Miami. Messi's Inter Miami loses for the first time this season in MLS to Suns LAFC. To be honest, I expected a lower level. Everyone who arrives in League One confirms it. PSG is the new leader of League One. Thanks to RC Lens' defeat and their victory against FC Metz, Luis Enrique's men regain the top spot in the championship. Real Madrid falls at the very end of the match against Osasuna. Final score, 2-1. Inter Milan's crazy unbeaten streak. 14 matches, 13 wins, and 1 draw. Liam Rosenior, the best teams that win titles win games 1-0 even when they are not at the top of their game. We should have won 1-0 today. I know what it takes to get there. RC Lens completely collapses at home and loses to Monaco. RC Lens was leading 2-0 at the hour mark. But Monaco never gave up and pulled off a comeback. Jose Mourinho, I can't go to Africa. There are too many people everywhere. I had Didier Drogba, Jermaine Gitap, Salomon Kalou, John Obi Mikel, Michael Essien. Every time I go to Africa, I can't walk. People love me. Even in Europe, with many African players, people really love me. To be honest, I love these guys and I feel that the African player is very loyal and very pure. When I go to Africa, I can't even walk, the love is overwhelming. Many of them called me a papa. Juve just can't do it anymore. No wins in its last 5 matches. Como dismantles Juve on their own turf. Masterclass from Maxence Kakare in the middle, who scored his team's second goal. Lucas D. Cunha, assist provider. Cesc Fabregas' team sits in 6th place in Serie A and moves to within 1 point of today's opponent. Former Arsenal player Theo Walcott was asked about Real Madrid's ranking in the Premier League. He replied, 8th. I think they might struggle at Crystal Palace and Leeds. The weather will also play a part. Former Bayern Munich goalkeeper Oliver Kahn speaks on the GOAT debate. For me, Ronaldo was much better than Messi and Cristiano. I still consider him the most complete player of all time. El Fenomeno was the best player I have ever seen. The Lion is dead tonight. Strasbourg wins and restarts its race for Europe. End of a crazy series of 13 consecutive wins for Lyon, who didn't exist tonight. Fonseca's men missed the opportunity to make an excellent move in the standings. More racism in footballers' DMs. This time, it was Romain Mundle who was targeted. After missing a big chance at the end of the match, the Sunderland player received a wave of racist messages in his DMs, which he posted on his story. A situation serious enough that he decided to delete his Instagram account. This is unfortunately the second wave of racist harassment he has suffered in a year. Following these attacks, his club as well as the Premier League quickly issued statements to offer him their support and firmly condemn this behavior. AS Roma wins 3-0 against Cremonese. The Giallorossi move level with Naples and third place. Benzema? A few weeks ago we were teammates, now we are rivals. Houssam Oya on his relationship with Karim Benzema, who unfollowed him on Instagram. We are friends off the pitch but not on it. Paris Saint-Germain wants to extend Seny Mayoulou until 2030. The Parisian Tite favors his training club. Ruben Loftus-Cheek suffers from a fracture of the alveolar bone and will be out for several months. With several fractured teeth, the Englishman is expected to undergo surgery in the coming hours. Tolua Rocader victim of racist insults in private messages on Instagram. It is still incredible to me that we live in a time where people have so much freedom to express such racism without any consequences. These individuals should have no place in our sport, and collectively we must act to sanction all those who tarnish the sport in this way, no matter who they are.